Majo John Mad Monito. I'm still not used to my Android phone. I still tend to touch it in places it doesn't want to be touched. It's because that's the story of my life. I ought to give it a girl's name. And I turned the video off, so I just did that. So this is part 2. And I said that I come here for messages from God, but I also often say that it's not a mistake or an accident that God is dog spelled backwards, because I get an awful lot of messages from the dogs in my life, like Princess here. And I get them from myself. I get them from my inner pilot. I get them from my oneness with all things, which is true for me. But I said in that last video that at the last minute when I was at Tequilaville, where my friends let me run a tab every month, that I went there with 2 purposes. One was to borrow $100 so I could get it to the hospital tomorrow morning. And the other was to get a bottle of tequila in case my pain comes back tonight. But at the last minute, I realized Galfet, the 30-year-old, is going to have to make this decision without the grandparents, Blanca and Melchior. They're the ones who make these kinds of decisions. You're putting them in a tough spot. You need that money. And simultaneously, you're going to take home a bottle of tequila. Doesn't that put him in a bad spot? He knows you're not a drinker. So he's got to wonder, should I? He just told me how sick he is and that he may not come back from the hospital. And he's going to get drunk tonight. Do I support that? He'd been in a terrible spot. So I said, that's the reason I did not ask for tequila, because I did not want to put him in such a bind. So I come out here for answers, and right after I shot that video, I realized, yeah, that's true. But the more important truth is, if this is your last night in Akumal, which it could be, do you want to get drunk? Alcohol has been a scourge in my family. My dad was alcoholic. All the men of his generation, with one exception, were drunks. The Irish called it the curse. I drank heavy in college. They don't even diagnose it there. I was having a good time in getting over being Catholic. I drank heavy in New Orleans 2 years ago. Winter of 23. 2 years ago. I got so happy in New Orleans. When I went to Asheville, North Carolina in 2004, everybody said, you're so Asheville. You're artsy and creative, and you just changed your name to Majo. You're starting to do performance poetry with musicians backing you up. You're taking all these crazy risks. Yeah, you're pure Asheville. Well, when I got to New Orleans, I realized I'm way more New Orleans. It's 80% black, and that's a lot of what's influenced me over the years. And the public radio station in New Orleans celebrates the cocktail culture. They have a cocktail culture in New Orleans. Drinking is part of the game, and music, and being black. I got so happy in New Orleans that I started drinking Janis Joplin's New Orleans drink, Southern Comfort, and I put away a lot of it. I'd be drinking half a bottle of Southern Comfort and not even getting drunk, just sober, just quiet enough to sleep. But what I finally realized, and I also went through incredible pain in New Orleans when little Pancho died under terrible circumstances. I had to release her to a medical hospital that was on COVID precautions, and I never got to see her. And I realized after a few days that they were lying to me about how sick she was. I said one day, well, what do you mean when you say she's better today? Well, she lifted her head up. I thought, oh my God, my dog is dying. And then finally they said, we're going to let her go today. We're going to let her go today. Come on by, you can spend an hour with her. We'll let you spend an hour with Pancho. So I was in a nice Mexican restaurant across the street having a margarita, getting ready to go see Pancho, and my phone rang. And the very nice doctor said, I'm really sorry, we tried to save her. She had a heart attack and she's gone. And in that lovely restaurant, I pounded my fist against the wall and screamed, no! No, it wasn't supposed to go this way! Fortunately, I had already stopped drinking. I had already said, I don't like being unconscious. I'm all about being conscious. Why do you want to be unconscious? So I wasn't drinking it. So I was able to do my trauma around that without alcohol being in the way. And so what I realized today was, yeah, you don't want to put Yafet in a bad spot. But if in fact this is your last night in Akumal, which you love, you want to be drunk? No. And your landlord Marcos, who's following this whole journey, and your brother Dennis, who's following this whole journey, they've done a great job of not being judgmental about you drinking. They know that you've been hitting the tequila really hard to manage the pain, physical pain. Would they not be more relieved if you said, I've done the alcohol. Let go of that. I can let go of that. Give everybody a break, huh? Take it straight. My mom's favorite oppressive line used to say, face it, John. When she started a sentence with face it, you knew she was about to say something oppressive. Face it, John. Jesse Jackson is a communist. Face it, John. All this hippie stuff is no good for you. Face it, John, you're learning too much psychology. Stop asking all these psychological things. Face it always meant stuff something. But I've come to realize face it is not a bad sentence. Face it is a complete sentence. And sometimes what you need to do is just face it straight. Don't drink. Don't distract yourself. Take it straight. And then the present moment is okay. I just got quiet. I just got more quiet. More quiet. I don't know if the world got more quiet. I got more quiet. That's what I want. I want to be clear. I want to show up fully in the moment. I don't want to be drunk like my dad. It's the best he could do. It's the best he could do. But I lost my father to alcohol. He wasn't there. I want to be there. I want to be there for every person who shows up in front of me, and every dog, every bird. Yeah. Okay. It's a wrap. Bye.